When I was in college, I set about to learn how to play the guitar. Now, if truth be told, I got basically to the point where I could strum the guitar and learned a few chords so I could sort of kind of play the guitar. But the truth of the matter is, it's nothing I ever really mastered. And if I'm being totally honest with myself, one of the reasons behind that is because I didn't practice. I didn't have the passion for it. I didn't have the drive for it. And as a result, I never became a very proficient guitar player. But that never really got in the way of my love of music, which has been ongoing. So I'm at kind of this dichotomy of I want to make music, and yet I really don't have the skills to do that. Well, we're starting to see a lot of this type of thing in the world of AI, where I may not have the natural skills to be a musician or to be an artist, etc., and yet there are tools that will help me get there. And today I want to share with you 3 amazing platforms to allow us to create our own music, depending on what our needs are. Now we're going to explore this from the angle of being a creative. I don't want to have a debate about whether this is good or bad because there are different sides of it. I personally like the idea of a level playing field to give regular folks without mad skills an opportunity to come in and do something that they've never been able to do before. I do think there are going to be limitations on what we can do with the technology, at least initially. But at the end of the day, it's still a pretty cool opportunity for a regular person who is not a musician to be able to come in and create something that will serve a purpose. And especially if we're talking about generative content creation, which we'll be taking a closer look at. Now, to kick things off, I want to show you a tool called Suno.com. Now, Suno was my first introduction into AI generative music. And it's got some very cool things going for it. We're starting to see some of the other platforms have similar things. We're going to probably have a shakeout over time. So I'm going to come into create mode, and it gives me an opportunity to put in a song description. So here I'm going to put some keywords, or at least a description of what I would like my song to be about. In this case, I'm going to put in that this is a song about sitting in a green field looking for 4-leaf clovers. That's what I want to be able to do, and I'm going to click on the create button here. And it's going to go and generate some options here for me. We'll give it a moment. Okay, it's created something called Clover Chase. It says it's a melodic acoustic folk, which seems suitable for something we're doing. Let's give a gander and see what we have here.
In the grass, searching for a sign in this green field where the clovers intertwine. Sunshine on my face, breeze playing with my hair, lost in my thoughts with no worries to bear.
All right, so, it's a pretty good song. And the cool thing about it also is that the lyrics aren't so bad. I kind of like what we have here, and the lyrics are showing over here on the right-hand side. And it's giving us a deeper sense of kind of what's going into here. We got a verse and chorus and stuff that we can put into here. So very cool. Now, what if I wanted to modify things a little bit? And I want to reuse my prompt, but I want to put in a different style of music. Right now it's going with melodic acoustic folk, and I can come in here and maybe there's a different style that I can grab. Maybe if I click on use random style, I get syncopated kids music, groovy emo. I don't know. Let's give that a try. Okay, now we have Clover Chase, the groovy emo version. We actually have 2 versions of each. Let's listen to the first one.
Lying in the grass, searching for a sign in this green field where the clovers intertwine. Sunshine on my face.
That sounds a lot like something I might actually hear on the radio. That is pretty darn good. Let's listen to the other version and see how that works out.
Lying in the grass, searching for a sign in this green field where the clovers intertwine.
Wow. And as you can see, this came up with this. It took maybe about 30 seconds to put all this together. And the cool thing, of course, about it, we have lyrics and we have music that really fits here. Now, one of the things I've noticed about Suno, and it could just be one of those things that's going through development, is a lot of times the lyrics seem to have like a little bit of a fuzz box around them. It's a little bit more challenging for us to be able to kind of hear the lyrics. It's not as clear. But again, at the end of the day, the ability to come in here and to be able to set something up that allows us to really just create a pop song in a few minutes. So now, Suno is only one of the examples I want to share with you today. I also want to show you a few other platforms that are running parallel or have slightly different variations, but a lot of what we're getting out of these is going to be similar. Now let's take a look at our next candidate, which is going to be Stable Audio. Now, as the name might imply, Stable Audio was created by Stable Diffusion. And what it allows us to do is something a little bit different from what we saw in Suno. For example, I can come over here and I can put in a language prompt. I could really be much more exacting depending on what I want. I can put in some dramatic chords and choir and euphoric, and I can come in and say, you know what, let me use some of the things that they've already pre-created, like synth pop here. So big reverb, synthesizer pad chords, moody, nostalgic, 100 beats per minute. So maybe that's the kind of thing I want. But what I like about this tool is that it allows me to come in and set a specific duration for the music I want to create. So again, a lot of times when I'm doing any kind of development, there's a musical bed or some sort of stinger that you want to put in, and you go looking through these different libraries, and it's really hard to find that exact thing that you're looking for. Because let's say, for the sake of argument, that I need exactly 21 seconds worth of music to fill in a gap for something that I'm working on. So I can come in here now and I can say, let's make this 21 seconds of music and come up with whatever prompt I want. And let's go generate this thing. Okay, and it's taken about a minute or so to generate this. And I'm going to come in, let's take a listen to what we have here. All right, so it has a good conclusion, so there's an outro built into it. And again, a lot of the times when you're working with any kind of musical beds, you have to figure out how to fade them up and fade them down. And just having something that you can say, it's exactly this much space that I need, and go generate a musical track for it, kind of magical, kind of amazing. Especially, again, if you're not someone who can go out and generate it with your musical setup or in MIDI or whatever you're doing. So I really like this. So Stable Audio is a little bit different from Suno in the sense that this is only creating instrumentals for us, but an opportunity to go in and set timed instrumentals and come up with all sorts of things. Again, the prompt library will work for you, but if you want to go and write your own, you can write your own prompts as well. So pretty cool thing. Last thing I want to share with you is something relatively new that is a bit mind-blowing, and that is Udio.com. Now, similar to Suno, Udio, which is currently in beta, by the way, currently saying that you can create up to 1,200 songs per month in beta. There's no charging right now. There's a fair amount of traffic. People are discovering it, and it's some very cool things you can do. And I really like the structure of the interface. But again, coming in here and putting in some sort of keywords and saying, all right, what do I want to have this to be a song about? Let's just say this is a song about an epic car road trip. There we go. I don't know, some friends, we all got in the car together, we went somewhere. And what do I want to do here? How about some, I'll do some alternative rock. I'll throw that in there. And maybe we'll get some little post-grunge on the guitars in here. And is there anything else? By the way, there's a whole bunch of things in here. And we'll make it melodic, because who doesn't like a good melody? Right now, by the way, cool thing, if you have your own lyrics, because maybe you're a lyricist and not a musician as such, you can bring your own lyrics in. You can create instrumentals as we did in Stable Audio. And we're going to go with auto-generated here. Again, let's start by clicking on that Create button. Okay, now, by the way, it took probably at least 3 minutes to generate both of these tracks. So I have a feeling at this point in time, there are a lot of people hitting these servers and things are a little bit slow. But hopefully in the future, this won't be as much an issue. But the good news is, again, we created some songs. Now, these are both 33 seconds in length. One is called Chasing Horizons. The other is Tales of the Asphalt, which certainly fits in our theme of an epic road trip. Let's take a listen to Chasing Horizons and see what we came up with.
Chase the sun, engines roar, the adventures begun. Maybe we were driving down a blessed road.
Well, we definitely got something there. Now, in the past, I've seen lyrics that are being generated that pop up here. I'm not sure why we're not seeing them right now. Let's take a gander for Tales of the Asphalt. Now, I'm not sure how we got the heavy metal mix in here, but that's kind of what we have. So yeah, it's fitting the bill. It sounds definitely like we got some heavy metal going on here. The cool thing about this, once again, is that I can come in and sample this. I might say, you know what, Tales of the Asphalt, it's a little heavier than what I want. This is more of a buddy road trip, not a hate my parents road trip, perhaps. And so we can come in here, we can say, you know what, I don't need to keep that one. I can get rid of it. And but here's the cool thing about this. It's currently 33 seconds long. I say, you know, I like the sound of this. I think it's working. I can choose to extend this. So by clicking, I can extend the track out by 30 seconds. I can determine where I want to put it. Am I adding the section before what I currently have? Am I adding it after what I currently have? Do I want to have an intro or an outro? I'll just add a section afterward here. Is it going to be an instrumental? No, I'm gonna continue the song from where it was. Let me just change this up a little bit here, see if we can make some changes. I'm going to take out the heavy metal aspects of it, make it a little bit more melodic, and let's see what that does for things. Let's go. Okay, once again, it took a couple minutes for us to get here, but we have some new versions. We have the extension version 1 and version 2 here. So now we're up to about 1 minute and 6 seconds on this. Let's give it a listen.
On highway lanes we chase the sun, engines roar, the adventures begun. Maybe we were driving down a blessed road. All this while I'm tired of the endless crowd.
That's pretty fun. And if I extend this back a little bit further down, let's see where it pops in here.
And turn will remain. Fields of gold under big blue skies. With every breath feels like we've been baptized.
Well, it sounds like an epic road trip indeed. So that's kind of fun. Let's listen to the other version. We have another version, version 2 here.
On highway lanes we chase the sun, engines roar, the adventures begun. Maybe we were driving.
And it sounds very similar to me. I'm guessing that the second half of the song, the new added stuff, is going to be the different variation.
We find our spirits rise with every mile. On this journey, life's worth our while.
Yeah, exactly what's happening. But again, we can come in here and we can incrementally kind of add things, take things away, and really play around with the idea. Now, again, I don't want to debate about whether or not this is generation of real music or not. It sounds like real music to me, and I generated it. Now, would I turn around and say to somebody else, hey, by the way, want to hear this song I wrote? I personally wouldn't, because that's not how I roll. Because I used a machine and an assistant. It's like hiring a musician saying, hey, can you write me a song? I'm not going to turn around and say, yeah, I wrote this song now, right? Even though I made it happen, it's not really mine. So can I use it? Yes. Can I use it royalty free? Yeah. And that's one of the things, again, if you're a content provider like I've been most of my career, getting these pieces is challenging. First of all, finding something that will fit exactly your need is challenging. Second of all, it's usually prohibitively expensive. And in this case, again, these models are a little bit different depending on what it is. This is still in free mode. I can make 1,200 songs a month, which I probably won't need. When we work with something like Stable Audio, I have 14 credits available, and then I can upgrade to Pro at some point. And if I'm working with Suno, currently I have 510 credits available for me to come in and play around with, depending on what my needs are. So anyway, this is not a shootout. I wanted to provide more of an introduction to these tools. So if it's something you're not really familiar with, I want to encourage you to go in and visit these different platforms and play around with these things and come to your own conclusions. The one thing I can guarantee with everything we're seeing here, it's only going to get better, right? This is as bad as it's ever going to get, and it sounds pretty darn good. It's going to get clear. We're probably going to have multi-channel, a lot more granular control. The point simply is that in the future, making music may not be picking up a guitar and strumming it. It may be coming in and using these tools. And by the way, we've been able to do this for years, right? I can go get music kits and software and build my own tracks and all that. This is really just the next step forward, all right? We could certainly argue that I'm not a musician if I'm using some sort of a controller to do it as opposed to strumming on a guitar. The bottom line simply is that I'm making music, and I can now use this music in my different projects, and that's what this is really all about. So I want you guys to be able to take an opportunity to play around with this. And by the way, if you're interested also in some generative AI stuff, I want you to check out this recent video that we've created. And by the way, if you like what we're doing here, we'd love to talk to you on a regular basis. Please hit the subscribe button below. And we drop a video every week, and we'd love to talk to you about all things having to do with AI and content creation. Anyway, thanks so much for dropping by. I'll see you real soon.